and welcome to Library Connection. I'm Mandy Cantrell, Youth Services Director at the B.B. Comer Memorial Library here in Sylacauga. Very first, I want to give a great shout out to the TV station here, TV 47. We appreciate you allowing us to come on and have our show and showcase different activities at the library and events going on, things related to us. So we appreciate that. Now today, my guest is Tana Thompson. She is an author from here who has written the Love Unleashed series. Is that correct?
That's
yes.
correct.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Great.
Pleasure.
I thought about having Tana on. She gave us some books at the library, and we always do pet story times and promote, dogs, cats, caring for pets, things like that, helping to teach children in our story times. And before Christmas, we had a fundraiser for the Sylacauga Animal Shelter, just wanting to do our part because I think everybody loves pets. I have a dog, Sarah has a cat. We all, just try to support these agencies and enjoy what they do. And we appreciate what you do too.
Thank you very much. I enjoy doing it. That's a wonderful part.
Good. Well, before we get into the books, tell me about yourself, Tana.
Well, I was born in Ohio and transported to South Florida for grade school all the way through junior college. Okay. My parents owned some businesses there, so I was only child and kept myself occupied and wrote little stories that never went anywhere. But I think I was bitten by the writing bug early, and that sort of stayed with me, although it's not what I did for a living or anything. Okay. Went on to college. Actually ended up with way more degrees than one person ought to have.
It's a lot of hard work there.
But in the process of doing that, ended up in a teaching career, which I never expected to have. And that left me with literally left brain work for a whole career of 30-some years. And, later I wanted to use my right brain and see what I could come up with that was more creative than writing computer programs and teaching people how to do that. So
I like how you tell me you finished with a degree in computer, whatever it was, when computers were just up and coming.
Oh yeah, 1969. That was a long time ago. We were still using floppy disks and punch cards.
Oh my goodness! It said you never intended to teach, but they needed teachers with those skills.
They needed teachers that we didn't have a lot of teachers that were ready to be faculty to other people. I had worked in it a couple years and ended up teaching a night class, and I enjoyed it. And I thought, well, I never thought of myself as a teacher, but this was fun, and I enjoyed the challenge of helping a student who could come in a class, a single class actually, just one, and walk out with a skill that they could go market. And we had a lot of people do that who didn't follow through and get complete degrees because there were jobs waiting. And that was very rewarding to me to be able to know that I had helped individuals, actually get something started in their own life. And then it just kept going from there, and a few more degrees here and there, and ended up in universities, and enjoyed every moment of it.
That's great. So. Now, what brings you to our area, Talladega County?
My husband was offered a position at AIDB. He was the vice president there, and then for a few months, the president in between presidents. But he served AIDB for 10 years as vice president. And I ended up also taking a job. There weren't a lot of university teaching here except through Birmingham. Sure. I did teach over at UAB for a short time as a part-time, but didn't like the commute.
No.
Taught at Talladega College for a while until I was offered a position at AIDB working with staff. And that was much more enjoyable because no papers to grade, no tests to make up.
That's wonderful.
It was wonderful helping the staff who were helping the children. And that I didn't get to work with the children directly, but it gave me something to do that was a contribution, I thought, to the mission of AIDB. So it turns out that experience was probably the best of my life, and gave me a lot of inspiration for these stories. And so I really credit everything that I did there at AIDB for these books. They really formed the foundations of them.
Well, that is a wonderful place.
It is.
AIDB is.
I still love it.
So you said you were a writer as a child, and then as you got older, you decided, or maybe was it when you retired, you decided to write more?
Well, I actually had a 4th grade teacher who gave me an A+ on a paper, and that really inspired me. And in the back of my mind, I think I always knew that someday I wanted to do something. But this first story right here, literally
Yes.
10 minutes to write, just came to me.
Really?
I know it was inspired by God because it's full of all that kind of inspiration.
Yes, it is.
And I just, it just happened. And the next one the same way, and the next one the same way.
Now, the first one is Why Dogs Are.
Yes.
And I love each of your books has an inside story, and each of the, I mean, it's not just about dogs.
Right.
It's about, it has an inside story, and it supports a charity. So
Yes.
tell us about why Dogs Are and how that works.
Well, Why Dogs Are, can I
Yes.
stand it up?
Yeah.
That's my dog. He was a rescue, and he was also a therapy animal. And when my husband and I took our therapy, we had 2 therapy dogs at the same time. They were both golden retrievers. And when we took our therapy dogs to Helen Keller School, which is part of AIDB, I just couldn't get over the interaction of the animals with the children. They seemed to sense a special touch was needed. And this dog especially was good at that. And there was a young boy there named Brian. He was 7 years old when I met him, and he was born deaf and blind. And Brian and this dog connected in a way that I never would have dreamed an animal and a human could connect. This dog crawled on his stomach over to where Brian was sitting and put a paw up on his leg so as not to scare him.
Right.
From that moment on, they had a wonderful friendship. And I watched that example of unconditional love that meant like, oh, wow, I've never seen that before. And it was just so meaningful. And so Brian, now 30-something years old,
Yes.
out on his own, has a job, lives in a group home. I keep up with him through his parents.
You do. That's great.
And so the little boy in the book, when I asked the illustrator to draw him, I told him, I said, some of the young people out there watching this will not remember Dennis the Menace.
I do. I know Dennis the Menace.
Showing your age.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I said, make him look like Dennis the Menace. And he always wore a striped T-shirt, and his hair would not lay down.
Yes.
So she did, and when his parents saw the drawing, they could not get over that she hadn't ever seen him.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's another thing that really made it special, that even the illustrator who I found in Louisiana was able to capture so much of that child without ever meeting him or seeing them.
So the inside story on this is this is a child you know and the bond.
It's the unconditional love theme that I go for in this one.
Yes, I can't talk about the book too much. I'll have to have some tissue here with me. But they are wonderful books.
Thank you.
And I love. I mean, I'm not surprised that children love animals, love dogs, but that the dog could sense that this child needed something extra.
Most therapy animals have that ability, and we may not give them enough credit for that. But they're using monkeys, dolphins. Donkeys, all kinds of therapy animals. Yeah, and there's lots more books. I'm just not sure if I'm going to be the one to write them. But I think one of the reasons I have this Love Unleashed as a logo, this is the logo that we use with all the books, and it's trying to say, you know, if we could let them all off leash, which we can't, we need to protect them from cars and things, so that's not necessarily feasible. What I don't mean literally unleash them, but the love of animals for people and the purposes they have served. For instance, Helping Hands is an organization in Boston, Massachusetts that uses monkeys to help quadriplegics.
Oh my goodness.
And they can train a monkey because they have a grasping capability. They can be trained to open doors, refrigerators, turn on TVs, and that's really special. Well, even a monkey has a leash to keep it safe, but when they're unleashed, they can do amazing things for people.
To do everything they can do. That's great. Well, we're going to pause for a commercial break, and we'll be back to talk a little bit more with Tana Thompson.
It's that time of year again, time to celebrate the magic of our history, the magic of the Marble City. Visit the 10th Annual Magic of Marble Festival, April 3rd through 14th. Watch sculptors from around the world at Bluebell Park. Buy your own piece of art at the B.B. Comer Memorial Library or take a quarry tour. For more information, visit bbcomerlibrary.net/Marble Festival or like us on Facebook at Sylacauga Marble Festival. Come celebrate the magic of our Marble City.
Hi, it's Shawnee McNeil at South First Bank. This is a great time for you to buy or build a new home, or maybe refinance your present mortgage. Our rates are the lowest they've been in years, and that means saving you money. We've been helping our customers become homeowners in this area for nearly 70 years, and we can make our approvals right here in the office, and that means saving you time. We're located here in downtown Sylacauga. Come in and find South First, a better way to bank.
Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our knowledgeable pharmacists are always available for questions about your medications or advice on taking over-the-counter products and supplements. Our friendly staff can assist you in choosing from our full lines of compression hose and medical equipment. And don't forget our gift department. We have a great selection of unique gifts for every occasion. Stop by today and see us. Marble City Pharmacy, where your health comes first.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
Welcome back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Tana Thompson, who has written the Love Unleashed series about animals. And we talked about why dogs are. Now that has a story behind it. And what is the charity that it supports? Each of your books supports a different charity.
The dog book supports any dog-related charity.
Yes.
We just recently supported Barking Mad
Oh,
Rescue
what is
Center.
that?
And that was because Hurricane Harvey destroyed their facility.
Okay.
And so we helped them rebuild a little bit of that. We do things like pet shelters, rescue shelters.
Wonderful.
We have fundraisers with the book, and anybody who has an animal-related, dog-related, therapy-related charity, I'll certainly go, show up if I'm invited, and sign books and make sure that the donors get a good something to read and share with their children, as well as donate to the charity.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Now, how can they get in touch with you? You have a website.
I do have a website. Each book has a website. So this dog book, for example, is Why Dogs Are.
Yes.
This one's going to be Why Horses Are. Each of them has either a splash page to take you to the right place or a website. I'm reworking my websites now.
Okay.
But you can still get in touch. The Love Unleashed is going to have its own website someday. I'm just a little slow getting it going.
Working that out.
Also have, if you have a chance to jot down an email, would be publisher, PUBLR, @kendallneff.com. And that's the overarching publishing thing that I run to sell and market the books and make the books. And so that would be the easiest way. And if you could pick up the library copy and just look in the very back, it's all in the back, how to get in touch.
Good. I'm glad you brought yours. I had one. The other two were checked out. So. But now tell us about the next book, Why Horses Are. This has a very special story.
Yeah. Why Horses Are talks about, as its locale, the setting of the book is Mariana Green Henry Special Equestrian Program that's out on 21 South between Talladega and Sylacauga, and they receive right now all the proceeds from the sale of this book. That's center has its own wonderful, it's part of AIDB, and it has its own wonderful background story about the founder, Mariana Green Henry, was a horse-loving woman who had a heart for those children at AIDB. And she donated some land and some horses to give them a riding outlet, because when a child is in a wheelchair, their core muscles don't get exercised. The movement of a horse simulates walking. So this gives the child a chance for some really deep core muscle exercise when they cannot walk themselves. And so she started that program and then died very young suddenly. Her family continued that effort with more land, more building. Her brother still is the manager. Her father still fundraises for that organization. And so with my connection to AIDB through work and my husband's work there, we just fell in love with the story. And so this story is about a young girl who has a horse, but as she gets involved, as she grows older and has other activities, she decides it'd be better to give her horse to the other children who could benefit from it. And so again, when this book sells, all the proceeds go to Mariana Green Henry Equestrian Center.
That is a great center. I know one of our little girl who comes to check out books with her family at the library goes there, and we've talked about the horses, and one of my neighbors volunteers there every day, has for several years. Dave Boat loves it, and she knows this little girl. They know each other. He's her favorite, I believe. So I know how much it means to him as a volunteer, and how much it means to this little girl who comes.
One of the things about this book, for parents interested in if a child has a horse interest, these are pictures of real children that have been at the center, and on the inside there are lots of pictures of what it's like to be at a horse stable taking care of horses, washing them, cleaning the stall, feeding them. So inside here are lots and lots of actual pictures, and the illustrator actually took photographs that I provided and drew. So the inside's exactly as the arena sits, and so it's more of an experience too of what it's like to actually be in love with horses and have to take care of one, because a lot of people want a horse, but there's a lot of work taking care of a horse.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that's why fundraising for them is important, because they never get as much as they need.
Oh, I'm sure they don't. And I drive by the Equestrian Center a lot and never knew the backstory really. And this is a wonderful story of how it began. So I feel like it's a little bit of history there to learn that too. That's great. Now, the last book, Why Cats Are. Tell me about that.
Well, this is my cat on the front. I never owned a horse, so I couldn't use mine. By the way, that horse is the illustrator's horse.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
she took I should say, I give her some little shout out. She's from Ohio. She's a relative of mine, actually.
Okay, good. Well, that's good.
When I found out that she had a horse and drew horses and loved horses, she was the perfect one to do it for me. But she took 1,000 pictures of her horse so she could get him in the right motions for all the different pages of the book. And then he passed away suddenly. So she had to take a few weeks breather from drawing, because she couldn't stand to do it while he was so fresh in her mind. But that's a good tribute for her that she got a chance to draw him like that.
And a lot of research goes into each of your books, I'm sure. I mean, you might have known a little more of the story about the Equestrian Center having that connection with AIDB, but still a lot of research in the background.
It's always the stories that inspire me. It's not anything I dream up by myself or even have a feel for the message until it's written. And it's inspiring to know these people and work with them. And so God's given me good stories, and I'm thankful, because they don't take long to write. They take a long time to get into print.
Oh, well, that's the nature.
That's the nature of the publishing beast.
Well, we're going to take another break and come back and talk about Why Cats Are.
It's that time of year again, time to celebrate the magic of our history, the magic of the Marble City. Visit the 10th Annual Magic of Marble Festival, April 3rd through 14th. Watch sculptors from around the world at Bluebell Park. Buy your own piece of art at the B.B. Comer Memorial Library, or take a quarry tour. For more information, visit bbcomerlibrary.net/Marble Festival, or like us on Facebook at Sylacauga Marble Festival. Come celebrate the magic of our Marble City.
Getting a good education is important. It sets a foundation for life. I began as a student, and now I lead students in making wise choices every day. One of those choices is eating healthy. Please join me and my families as we get the word out that students ages 18 and younger can have free after-school meals as well as free summer feeding through CHAMPS, Get Healthy Talladega County, and every meal matters. Remember, let's get out and work together and end childhood hunger.
Not getting a good night's sleep? Come into King's Mattress Outlet in Sylacauga and let us help you get that good night's sleep you deserve. We carry the best quality mattresses at the best prices from Restonic, King Cole, and Park Place. Eurotop Queen mattresses start at $199. Check out our Restonic Cabot Eurotop mattress with 1,000 individually pocketed coils, marvelous middle for back support, and comfort gel memory foam. King's Mattress Outlet in Sylacauga. Best quality at the best prices.
Hello and welcome back to Library Connection. I've been talking with Tana Thompson, who's written the Love Unleashed series. Just love your stories. I don't want to leave the cats out. This is why cats are. Tell us the story. This is your cat.
This is my cat.
Yes, okay.
He's not with us anymore. He passed on, but he was a great cat, and his thing was to stare at nature. And I would find him out in the yard just staring down at something, and I'd walk over to see what it was. It might be a caterpillar or a butterfly. He stared. And that may not sound like inspiration to some people, but it made me think he sees God's perfect creation. And that made me think about children, adults who are bullied, usually lose their self-confidence. Right. And my little theme on this one, God, don't make junk.
That's true.
You're perfect, and He made you that way, and you should appreciate the value of who you are and what He made you to do. And this cat just always gave me a thrill when I'd watch him just stare. It's like he was appreciating everything he saw, and he was taking it in, and he was loving it.
Things that we don't take the time. I mean, I pass by things all the time and give them a glance. So we should all look and stare and study.
But I connected it to bullying because so many children are suffering from just social media comments, casual comments. It's tough. And I was actually bullied in the first grade, so I never forgot that. And it wasn't bad. The girl actually became a good friend later, and we worked through it. But it hurt my feelings. The first day of school in a new town.
Oh, no, that's difficult anyway.
Yeah, and so I connected when I saw him staring with, he sees the beauty in everything, and he just looked at it. And I don't know how I connected it. Maybe I'll never know. But it just happened. And so he was that picture I happened to catch just one day, just clicking, nothing planned, nothing set up, and I just thought he was a beautiful animal, and I appreciated him, so I'm going to put him on the cover.
Well, good. And the proceeds from this book?
This one goes to the Alabama Spay-Neuter Association, because we have way too many unloved cats in the world. They're hard to adopt out. They're wonderful animals. I never liked cats until I was older. Appreciated them. I wasn't a cat person as a kid. And my mom and dad didn't like them either, so we didn't have a cat. But this one really changed my mind. And I decided that the Spay-Neuter program, the Alabama statewide, some of these charities are local, some are state, some are national, that I like to donate to. And I thought that was a good purpose for this one.
That's perfect. So. That's perfect. Well, it's a beautiful book. Book, a wonderful story. Bullying is so in the news right now. It's almost like the buzzword, or sad to say that. I'm sorry, I know a lot of children do that, but this is great to use with your child, or with maybe they've been bullied or they've seen bullying go on.
You talked about research. In the back of this one, there's some websites for parents to go to, and I checked through them to see that they were worth value to a parent who's dealing with a child who's bullied. So just as a reference, check it out from her, and check the website.
Yes, please do. Yes, great. Well, they're wonderful, and I know a lot of picture taking goes into that. A lot of research, things like that.
Yeah.
Do you have any more books in your head thinking about, or just don't want to? You might not want to say.
No, I don't mind. I'm not sure I'll get to it, or whether God will give me the energy anymore. But I originally started this series as 4 books. I was going to do one on monkeys because of the Helping Hands group.
That's interesting.
Then I've recently learned about the value of dolphins for autistic children. People with Down syndrome frequently are very vocal with dolphins. So those are possibilities. I want to do a Christmas book before I'm done, and then also one on grief and loss, since I lost my husband now 6 years. And the wonderful outcome that comes with the love and sharing with people that are in similar circumstance. And I think I have a little advice for people who lose something, whether it's a spouse or a friend or a job, that when you're grieving something, there are things to talk about.
Right.
And so that's one that's in the back of my head, and that's totally different, of course.
Well, but it's still helping people.
I think that one has my heart as well. So
that's great. Well, when you've been through something like that, you're the perfect person to talk about it, to tell someone.
I was blessed with being part of a widow group, and they have changed the whole thing into something that's now tolerable, but we learn from each other. We share with each other. We cry with each other.
Support each other.
Yeah, and so I think we're going to do it as a group project. So I think we've learned things that each one of us found different, but it's all part of the same process.
That is great.
So that might be the last one.
Well, maybe not.
Then I'll ride off into the sunset and do something else with my right brain.
Oh my goodness! Well, this keeps you very busy. Now, I do want to go back. I meant to ask you about your dogs. Do you still have dogs, therapy dogs?
I don't have therapy dogs anymore.
Training with that?
My two didn't need it, but the two that I have now, the two dogs are rescues, and I got them as older dogs. A little harder to train an older dog, but they're still wonderful animals. They'd probably make good therapy animals. Right. I just hadn't taken the time with all this to get them trained.
Well, you said like the one you started with the Why Dogs Are was a natural.
Yes, he was perfect, and his mother was perfect, and so we had two of them going. Yeah. My husband would have one in one hand, and I'd have one in the other. One of the things that was so important with the other dog, not the one on the cover, we went to the nursing home in Talladega, and the dog walked in on the incorrect side from my point of view because it was away from the door, and I didn't teach her to go there, and I looked over at the nurse and said, "What's different about this room?" And the lady said, "That lady's paralyzed on that side." The dog went to the other side.
Oh, they know, don't they?
They just know. They know. There's something about them, especially with people in need, that they know that.
They do.
So.
And that is such a good thing. I know my mother was in the nursing home, and growing up we had a little dog, and somebody brought their little dog in, and the dog jumped up on the bed, and I could see my mother had Alzheimer's, and I could see immediately she could remember, oh, that's Abby. You know, I mean, I don't know if she said that, but I could tell just for a minute, and that brought her a lot of joy. Yeah. So, and I've seen the patients interact with the dogs, and the people who take their time to come and do that, because it's not, you don't come for 15 minutes. No. So you come for a long time, but that's great. Yeah. Well, gosh, I'm so glad you're here with us, and we appreciate the books. Most certainly, children have enjoyed them. We've used them in story time and things like that, and I appreciate what you do to support all the different charities. I know that takes a little bit of research to find out which one you want to use, but that's great. We look forward to hearing some more things from you.
Thank you.
All right.
And thank you for the invite to come and share.
Well, you're welcome. Well, we have the books at the library. We'd love for you to come read. And your website again is?
Well, each book, Why Anything Are, is a way to get to the book itself. Of course, they're on Amazon, so you can look that up. And the website is www.kendallneff.com. Neff, N-E-F-F-F, like Frank, F-F, kendallneff.com. Okay. In the backs of all the books are all the contact infos if anybody forgets.
Great. Well, thank you, Tana Thompson, for being with us. And please come to the library and check out some of her books. And we hope to see you next time on Library Connection.